As you can see, we're not combining, we're out with the drill. As you can see, we're not combining, we're out with the drill. So, we're going at an angle to the combining in order to try and spread the straw a little bit. Seeds are going to be difficult to find because there are all sorts of rubbish in here. But interestingly, there is a bit of moisture, which is why I've continued to go, or made the decision to go. And I'm finding a seed just there, that little dark one, just there. So this was an establishment technique we've seen trialled or demonstrated by David White, whereby you plant your cover crop and all-seed rape at the same time. If your all-seed rape fails, it's just a cover crop, whereas if it succeeds, you plant it, it's a clear field variety, and so you can take out the cover crop with a clear field spray. One of the additional advantages of this is, as you can see, we've got some leftover broadleaf weeds in here, and the advantage is that I don't have to glyphosate them off. I can just leave them. It means that the capillary action of the weeds continues to bring moisture up from depth, which will aid the establishment of the cover crop and rape mix, and obviously shade the soil a little bit as well. So when we're entering August heat, it helps retain moisture and bring some up from depth. And as you saw from me digging around in the soil there is a little bit of moisture left over from the rains we had in the last week of July and first few days of August. So we've got some moisture. We've made the decision to push on. This will be an interesting experiment. This field is quite exposed to pigeons. It is definitely on the high risk end of the spectrum, whereas we are also trying this establishment technique in a regen field on heavier land closer to farm buildings, which doesn't have as high a pigeon pressure. So a good comparison. We've pre-mixed all the seed into 1.5 kilo bags in order to cut down on settling and try and make sure that you get a consistent supply of rape throughout the field. But we'll see how it goes. Morning everybody, it's Monday the 11th of August. Just popping back out to the field where we were yesterday. We managed to drill it and roll it. So we have actually, combine went pretty much with the line of the stubble here. As you can see, you can just about see the lines of the drill through the stubble, and then we've rolled it in line as well. As you can see from yesterday, we were getting some moisture, but it's pretty much all gone. Very dusty. In fact, it's dust is coming off it, but we have generated some crumb, and we have it's super fine around the seed, so we haven't really gone in that deep. The leading leg went in, but that was about it. The A-share was sprinkling on the top, and the flints have mostly been pushed back in, so fingers crossed on this one. Lots of woods, as you can see, big pigeon pressure. This is definitely the riskier of the 2 blocks we are trying. Next stop will be an application of slug pellets. So yesterday, working on setting up our Technique broadcaster for mustard, and also getting in preparation for spreading slug pellets. So I'll probably wait a couple of days before I come out with the slug pellets here. Won't be a lot of slug activities, it's still very dry on the surface, and the combination of the pull through with the Claydon and the rolls will have helped suppress the slugs a little bit. So that should buy us a little bit of time, but certainly we want a slug pellet application before it rains, if rain is forecast. This week is looking pretty good as far as weather goes. We are we're probably about 40% of our way through harvest now. We're hitting the spring wheat in order to save ourselves a move today. So at the end of today, we will be over halfway. So fingers crossed, no more breakdowns. We had a fan bearing go on one of the contracting combines yesterday, so he was in the beans, but we are making solid progress. So more updates to follow. So this is our crop of Palladium winter wheat. It's a bit dusty, for that I apologise, and it's yielding really quite well, certainly in the nines. So there you go. So really pleased with that. Just taken over from the combine for the evening slot. So we've been running 2 combines today. This John Deere has been doing spring wheat this morning on light land, which was pretty disappointing really, and then this afternoon it moved into this block of winter wheat, which is on the transition really between our light lands and heavy lands. It's right on the edge of the chalk escarpment. And interestingly, a couple of years ago, just on the left here, we had that drainage incident. The driver that I took over from said that as you go over here, it's between 9 and 10 tons. And so there you go. So a nice way, hopefully, to finish the evening on some heavy crops. And my neighbour who is running the other combine, he's running a New Holland, and he's cutting my spring wheat on heavy land. He's reporting that even though it's low input, it's yielding fairly well. So both crops relatively encouraging. That's sort of what we're hearing locally after some really disappointing yields on the light land. The heavy land is performing quite well. So fingers crossed, continues for the rest of the evening. Thank you very much for watching. See you later. Thursday the 14th of August, and we're in spring wheat. So we've had a fantastic run. We've managed to keep going. We even had some showers yesterday, but we managed to keep going through that. So we've been running 2 combines for most of this week. The smaller straw walker has been on the beans, and this larger rotary has been sitting in winter wheat. So we finished the winter wheat last night, and we're straight into spring wheat. So it's about 19 hectares here, and then we've got hopefully getting a move in today, which will put us in a 50 hectare block of spring wheat for this afternoon and Friday. Fingers crossed. A bit overcast. Combine driver's sure it's going to rain this afternoon. It's pretty humid, but we've managed to keep our moistures. Everything's coming dry so far. Kept our moistures under 13%. So grain drying costs have been really low. However, the grain is very hot. Some of the grain temperatures have been over 35 degrees. So get the fans on, try and cool that grain. For those of you who don't know, we have to get grain temperature in the store down to about 10 degrees before it's safe to store without bugs growing in it. Otherwise it's like a giant compost heap. So we're trying to cool it, get it down to 10 degrees, and we use colder air at night. But at the moment it's been about sort of 24, 25 degrees at night. So temperatures have not been assisting us as far as fans go. So enough of this, we'll catch up with you later. Good morning everybody, Saturday the 16th of August, and last night we completed our spring wheat, and with that our wheat harvest. So we have one small 10 hectare field of spring beans. Those spring beans that I planted into grass, they're the last field to harvest. We sprayed it off, but we're waiting for it to really get hold of the fat hen that's left in the field, which is would hamper harvest, so we're waiting for that before we finish. So I'm really pleased to report that we finished harvest. So big progress made this week. I think that's the fastest we've ever managed to complete harvest. Really, I think it works out in 8 days to complete harvest. So really impressive effort by the team. Thank you to my neighbours for helping me out. Having 2 combines really made such a huge difference. So with that, our attention moves on to next year. As you can see from behind me, we are out spreading mustard. So this is with our Technique spreader. As predicted by one of my colleagues, a little bit of issue getting the calibration spot on. Jack thinks it's to do with the fact that I didn't form an air seal on the tank, so I've cranked it up nice and tight this morning. But it's consistent, just it's taken us a little bit of time to get it dialed right in. So hopefully we're off and running. Very mindful of that. In previous years, the difference between mustard hitting my hip and my shoulder has been 5 days. So we really want to get this on as fast as we can. But really it's been too much for the team to do this and combine and grain carts at the same time, especially considering we've had 2 combines going, very hot temperatures, not much dew, and so we've been able to start relatively early in the mornings and get really quite long combining days in. Hence one of the contributing factors behind our speedy completion of harvest. So this is the conventional farm on light land. This block is entered into multi-species cover crop under SFI. So we're applying straight mustard now, and we'll come back and spin on vetch to make it multi-species. It's easier to apply straight than it is to apply a mixed seed. So we bought them as straights, and we'll just apply them in slightly different methods. But the important thing is to get it on as fast as possible. That's what we're working on today. Just whilst I am sitting on the cab, I also just wanted to touch on a conversation I had with my father this morning regarding sort of early lessons learnt from Harvest 25. We did manage to combine an exceptionally clean crop of mullica that we grew on a seed contract, and we put part of that down to we rolled it after drilling, and we were a little bit unhappy with the seed bed, so we harrowed it with the weeder and then rolled it again, and it produced an exceptional tilth that we believe made the crop quite drought resistant. It didn't crack at all. And in dry conditions, we believe that this fine tilth also formed a better and smoother surface for the efficacy of Avadex, which we applied instead of a Pre-M because of the dry conditions. And I think that that'll be a lesson that we're really going to be taking forward. We are aiming to do much more harrowing after drilling, even if it's at the cost of drilling output. I think it's increasingly important in our regenerative system in an effort to try and get that establishment rate up, something we've talked a lot about in the past. So early lessons learned from Harvest 2025.